Welcome to my little stream. This is for those of you who have the link. Essentially, this particular game is called Such Art. It is an overglorified art program that has a game side quest. Okay, we have our first comment. We're doing creative. So this is how you start the game in pretty much both modes. You have your not so secure password and your apartment number on whatever floor it is that you're on in the elevator. So let's head into the studio. We gotta enter in the code. And we have pop-ups and stuff. Now I know how to play the game. These tips will come up as I go through the game. Again, loosely considered a game. And the game comes preloaded with a bunch of preloaded color on a bunch of tools. And to be honest, half of these I almost never use. I tend to use very fine detail, but I'm doodling for all of you today, so. Now, in the game portion, usually your first commission is from your in-game sister asking for a unicorn. Do we want to do a unicorn or do we want to do something else? And there's post-it notes literally scattered everywhere. So if you have the funds to get it or have it on your wish list, 10 out of 10, if you do art, I highly recommend. Or even if you don't, because you can blow up canisters, which is just fun on its own. And I'm just removing all these post-it notes because, like I said, they're everywhere. They're kind of annoying, and you don't want a post-it shaped blob on your work. Like, there's even one stuck on the ceiling fan up there. They're everywhere. So lots of little Easter eggy things. I'm also pretty confident that the mops in this game is based off of Viscera cleanup detail. Because let's be real, it looks pretty darn similar. And yes, I have that game too. You all wanted chaos, so you're gonna get chaos. We're gonna stick it on the brazier, I don't know, how do you pronounce that? I know of like 2 or 3 different ways, cause French, brazier, but then that's a bra, so I don't know. So I've got some yellow and I've got some blue, let's light it up. Anytime now. Come on, blow up. Maybe I gotta light it on fire more? Oh my god, this is worse than waiting for paint to dry. Blow up! Oh, there we go. Yay, we've got now splatters on the wall. Only blue, where'd the yellow go? There's like no yellow. Oh, it didn't blow up yet. Okay, we'll stick that in the middle and we'll go with that too. Let's see if the angle change does anything. Yes! Blow up, blow up! The can is hot, judging by the glow. Come on, do I need to stick you in the fire more? There we go. And when I say you blow up paint and it gets everywhere, it gets everywhere. But some people kind of like that vibe. Now, I picked up the supporter pack. Like, I paid a little bit of extra for all these little things. Well, one of them's a big thing. Alright, so we have a bucket, a crab bucket. We have a very fancy paintbrush, a little crabby toy that squeaks. Crabby can just sit, I don't know, there, I guess. And a heart-shaped pillow. Boop. Now, other stuff that you can do in the game is you can order stuff from the store, and we're talking a lot of different paint mediums, some stencils, some drawing things, and then you can buy scanners and things. I'm gonna get the shield and the scanner, a couple more boxes to organize some stuff, because those are always never not handy. Some flying paint thingies, and we're gonna get the camera for some screenshots. And then you've got like slices of wood, you've got a couple of statue heads, some vases, a bobblehead that looks like a Funko Pop. So I could do a Funko Pop of anybody's character for anybody who's watching from the City of Heroes side. Can paint a clock, we can paint on a frying pan, some lava rocks, some shields. Actually, I might get a couple of those. Paint on a couch. And then there's some little fun toys and things that you can get, like an old reactor to burn your paintings if you really wanted to. Like, yes, you can burn the walls. A remote control car. Ooh, the stamps are handy. I'll get one of those. The fish is handy for scales. I'll get a couple of those. And I'll get a plant. Let's get a glowy plant for now. And then your receiving area. Isn't this kind of like what it's like when you buy from, like, stores online and all the parcels just build up outside your house? At least this way we don't have to deal with porch pirates in this game. Or space pirates? Unless your pet bot actually starts stealing stuff. And you do get a little robot helper in this game. Well, I loosely call them a helper because they often get more annoying and just want to play ball all the time. But you can make them mad, you can make them scared, you can make them... I wouldn't recommend it, but you can smash your pet bot against the wall, and then he just kind of hates you from there on in. You can get him wet and he looks annoyed at you. Let's just pop this over here. We have plant. Boop. And this can just go over here for now. This is actually kind of what an actual, like, studio is kind of like, if you have a lot of stuff. And as somebody who sews, I have a lot of stuff. And grab my fish for some texture. So while I'm setting up, does anybody have anything they want me to paint? It doesn't matter how small or how silly, this is player viewer requests. I have an idea. I think what I'll do is I'll paint a defender shield for now, while people come on in and decide what I should paint. Just getting a whole bunch of stuff that I know that I'm gonna use. And some stuff that's a little more less unconventional, but you know, I forgot a floating paint tray. Now, where is that thingy? I almost always have on me two major things. The leaf blower, which helps to dry the paint faster, and the small blender, wherever that is in here. And then we've got the Canzuka, so if you ever want to directionalize where you're blowing up a can, that's always a good tool to have. And then you've got some squirt guns that make little splats, which is really handy for if you're doing like blood or spray or some slime. The spoon is also good for that because it drips, but you want to put the canvas in a particular direction in order for it to drip the way you want it to. That's just a laser cleaner for precision cleaning. Leafy brush, which is really good for doing foliage things. Stick that there. We've got some flamethrowers. Always fun. Because who doesn't like a flamethrower? This is the steam cleaner. Not to be confused with the leaf blower, but also handy if you really want to clean up. Or just leave the chaos on the walls, like some people do. Oh, and whenever I'm doing a lot of blending stuff, I always have a can of... It's essentially a solvent, or what they call a solvent, which helps to make paint blend easier on the canvas, or on the wall, or on the bin, or whatever it is that you're painting on. The camera is there for screenshots, and it's the only way to get screenshots in game. I think they made that as a part of the game for a reason. Where is my blender? Oh, there it is. There's my blender. Okay, and the rest are all paint brushes, which I will bring with me. Oh, and the pencil and drawing set. You can also trash the camera if you really feel inclined. I am giving some spoilers of some in-game stuff to get achievements as well. It's not like it's terribly difficult to get like a good chunk of the achievements. You know, chaos. This is what happens when you start a new game. You gotta organize all your crap. I'm a lot more organized in game because I have a space for it all. Not like real life where it's just always chaos 24/7. Such is the life of a multi-crafter. That's the medium tip brush. Where's the itty bitty bitty brush? Another tool that's handy is the laser pointer, because you can draw finely that's fairly light, and then you can go in with your brush and figure that out afterwards. Like if you're just doing a design rather than just painting. Palette knives are always handy. And they do act like palette knives too. Because sometimes I will accidentally eject something into the trash can. Because I was playing Fallout New Vegas, so my keys are a little bit wrapped around. Because usually I play with like a Minecraft style, but sometimes that kind of backfires on me. And there we go, we have one defender shield. Alright, let's pop this on the wall here somewhere. We'll make sure we protect it. That's what the other one device is for, so that it doesn't get splattered with paint as I do things. Oop, nope, that's a paint sprayer. That's not what I wanted. There we go. So, what do you think? Anybody who plays City of Heroes, does that look like a defender shield? I think it does. It's a little off-center, but it's not bad. I've done way worse in terms of centering jobs than that. Oh wait, I have the camera on me. Haha. Yes, I know I took a picture. Thank you. Okay, now I can just huck the camera. Oop. like I usually do over here by this pillar. Now, the other cool thing is we can go in and scan it and then send it to the gallery. Oh wait, does that not get scanned? Oh right, that's right. Certain items you can just outright send to the gallery. I forgot about that if it's small enough. Which we can do with this shield. We can take it, put it back on the wall, boop, right there, send painting. Bye-bye painting, or in this case a shield. And we'll go pop that on the wall in the virtual gallery and have people visit the virtual gallery. They're only in-game bots, they're not people because, how did I put it? The moderators and the devs of this particular game, they said they don't want to have questionable subject matter being able to be viewed by other people unless the artist allows it, and then that would be on the platform that they are posting it onto to be the decider of whether it's appropriate or not for their general audience. So take that as you will. So welcome to the virtual gallery, where you can describe your paintings and label them. And these are all unlockable items that you can get through money in the game mode of the story mode of the game. And there's our shield. And then we're gonna go stick it on the wall. We'll stick it over here. Boop. And then you can change the height of the floor and certain barriers within the gallery itself if you really want to. These are multi-height barriers that you can change. And you can also color the walls too. Or just let some sunshine in. Oh, I've got the perfect idea. Ooh, yeah. I'm gonna change the walls so that one side's villains and one side's heroes. So this is the hero side. So, of course, hero side is blue side. There we go. Got my buttons mixed up. Let's do light blue down here. Boop. Lighter. Maybe a little bit, not quite periwinkle. Teal? No, not quite. That'll do. And then we can make the foyer orange, yellow, to equal the hazard zones. Oop. Kind of also brightens it up a little. And yes, you can toss stuff in the garbage. You can also toss yourself in the garbage if you really felt like it, but I'm not gonna. And then this will be red side. Let's go darker on the floor. Yeah. Now we have our classic red, yellow, and blue. That looks pretty nice. I'm just gonna wash off the palette. Should probably clean the wall too. Good enough. Because if you don't clean your surfaces and if you don't have it protected, you can accidentally pick up paint from the wall and stick it on your painting, which really sucks half the time. Alright, well, people are deciding what I should paint next. I'm gonna grab, I don't know, a frying pan. Because why not? Let's paint on a frying pan. Oh, and I'm gonna get a second camera just so I can destroy it. Can always do that roughed up orange couch from like the base editor. Actually, yeah, let me grab some furniture. Now for some strange reason, and I don't know why, but every so often my keyboard locks up. And especially when I'm playing high intensity graphics games like this one, Fallout 4, Fallout New Vegas, so if anybody has any suggestions on how to mitigate that, that would be fantastic. I've tried just about everything I can think of, and I have no idea how to fix it. And you can take pictures with a damaged camera. So I'm gonna see, can I paint one just so I know if it's damaged or not? Let me find out. Let me grab a tube of paint. Nope. Kinda wish you could differentiate between the two. But we're gonna go dunk it in some water and destroy this one for funsies. And what you get is some funky colors. So I think I'll put the broken one in here, just so I know it's broken. Just launch it over there. There we go. I think what I'll do, just so I can get rid of some of these random cans that I'm probably never gonna reuse, I'm gonna grab the Kanenzuka and I'll just, I don't know, fire it at that canvas just to use them. And sometimes you can just use it for effect, which is kind of fun. And it's not the first time I've used the Kanenzuka for said reason. I call it painting a snowstorm. Venom. Oh, man, that is a character I haven't drawn in... Have I ever actually drawn Venom before? I don't know if I have. Or we could stick to City of Heroes or City of Villains and go with the Hellions patch. The Hellions are all about anarchy, essentially, and fire. Okay, poll is up. Feel free to vote. I'll give you all... maybe until I'm done painting on the frying pan. I don't know, I'll do some bacon and eggs or something. There we go, I'll do 2 color eggs on this pan. Hey, we're actually gonna use a torch and fry some eggs. There we go, we got some nice glossy, slightly burnt sunny side up eggs. I think I'll do Venom. I'll do a small canvas. I don't want to do anything super complex and get into super heavy detail, otherwise we'll be here for hours. So, let me grab a small canvas. Yeah, that'll do. And I'm gonna Kanenzuka this, just to pre-prep. And we'll go with a starting base of like a couple of reds. Oops, I got paint on my screen. I should have protected those first. Okay, so whenever you're doing faces, and I'm gonna kind of go through some of the process here, everything is geometry, everything is shapes. Whenever anybody from like some of the great comic book artists like Greg Capullo, Jim Lee, the other fellow whose name is escaping me for this, we're gonna start off with maybe part of the, let's rotate this a little bit. Yeah, there we go. We're gonna start off with the face, and we're only gonna do like the head. So you have to think about how big Venom's head really is and how big his mouth and jaw is, because he can eat anyone and anything. So we have to mark that out before we start painting on it, because we're doing red and blue here, even though Venom is technically black, but blue, he's blue-black. So we need to come up with the shape of his face in general, and then we can go in detail. Now, with this particular game and particular program, because I treat this as an art program more than a game. And like in real life, you have to layer your colors on top of each other. Otherwise, there is no undo button. There is no redo button. You literally have to paint over any mistakes that you make. And we're going to essentially try and avoid that, especially with the background as speckled and dynamic as it is. It's gonna be tricky, but I can probably do it. And this is how we set up the palette. So if I need another color, I'll probably blend on the palette or figure that out. I don't know, paint it and mix it on the wall, and then I'll pick the color picker if I really need it or if I like it, and go from there. Okay, so now that we have our sort of base layers, you kind of want to build it from the inside of the mouth out. So then that way you can layer all the drool and goo over top. Ugh, Venom, my dude from space. Why do you have to have so many freaking teeth? Okay, before I get too far on the teeth, I think what I need to do is I need to do the goo on his tongue. Sorry, I was just taking a second there to watch a TikTok that someone sent me of an artist that is painting solely with the thickness and the light shining off of the paint. I can't really do that in this game because it doesn't really allow for that kind of depth of texture. That does seem really cool. I would love to try it someday. There is a little bit of another caveat with that, in that my partner has asthma and oil paints or acrylics can sometimes set that off. So I would like to not kill my partner from not being able to breathe. So I have to layer the paint up the old-fashioned way. Now here's the tricky part. We don't want the teeth being too red or too blue, because if you look at your own teeth, for example, they're a little bit maybe brownish teeth, like sort of a cream color, depending on the age of the teeth, how much coffee you drink, that sort of thing. But we don't want it too red because otherwise it'll blend in too much with the tongue, but we don't want it too blue because then it'll blend in with the rest of his face. So we have to figure out sort of a muddy, maybe a purpley kind of color for the inside of his mouth. Sort of. Color Theory 101. Okay, next the inside I gotta do the inside of his jaw to his under palate, and like before I start layering on the upper half, like the outside upper half, if that makes sense. So this is why I'm mixing like extra browns, so I can go into the jaw, get all those shadows first, and then I'll start building up around the teeth, working from the far side towards the front. And yes, I will have to redraw some of his drool a little bit later, but I can fix it. I was hoping to avoid black, but I think I might actually need it here. See, now we're starting to get the depth and definition of his teeth and his jaw, or at least on the inside of his mouth. That doesn't count the outside of his mouth. With all the blood splatter effect all over the place and it all being like reds, kind of just looks like he straight up murdered somebody in the art studio, doesn't it? There we go. What do you think, everybody, so far? Now, how's that for some teeth? I think my next angle I'm gonna be working on is getting most of the blue of the face and the eye done, and then I'm gonna go in closer to the teeth and the jaw, clean that up, add some highlights on the technical word. My brain is not working today. Gums, that's the word. Why are words hard today? Go back in at the end and add more drool and goo and stuff. So that's the order of layers I'm planning on doing. There we go. What do you think so far, people? Now this is where I'm gonna go in with starting to do the detailing of just like layering the getting lighter and lighter and lighter to enhance the goop. Okay, now I just think I have to clean up the drool and he's done. Now, because we all know that Venom is a bad guy, generally, or at least an anti-hero, we're going to put him on the red side. Then he'll kind of blend in with the background a little bit, but that's okay. I'm just gonna, I don't know, pop him underneath the eggs. The eggs was just there for shits and giggles. There we go. Alright, let me get a photo of that. Beauty. I don't think the Hellions one's gonna take me all that long, so I'll do that next, and then I think I'll call it there. For anybody who's not aware of what the Hellions are, they are a sort of cult group gang, I suppose. That's the best way I could describe it. They try to get power through, you know, taking hapless citizens and then just performing ritual things on them and kidnapping and extortion and etc, etc. So generally speaking, not very nice people. And the emblem is supposed to look a little like it was hand-drawn on the back of the jacket for this particular group, so that's kind of the outline of the sigils that I'm going with. And then I'm gonna maybe just grab the spray paint and do a circle. Actually, yeah, that's I think what I'll do. That's not supposed to happen. Come on, get out of the... Make smaller? There we go. I glitched it through the table. Way to go, me. Well, I mean, it is an indie game too, so sometimes glitches happen. Not unlike Bethesda and occasionally City of Heroes. In City of Heroes' defense, it is over a 20-year-old game, so... There we go, that's good enough, I think. I mean, it doesn't have to be an exact representation, it's just gotta be the right vibes of the original emblem, and within the spirit of making it look sketchy, because Hellions are just sketch. Anyhow, I'm gonna send this off to the gallery. Boop, boop. Nothing says Christmas like drawing a demon on the back of somebody's jacket as an emblem, right? Anyhow, well, I mean, think about it this way. There's a lot of Christmas demons out there, especially during Krampusnacht. And then there's Mary Lwyd and, like, pick Norse or Viking or Welsh mythology, and yeah, there's a ton. Anyhow, and because it's a Hellions emblem, that is absolutely going on Red Side, because you will find all sorts of Hellions all over. Let me just take a picture of it real quick, and then I'll move it higher up. Let me move that over a little bit. Maybe I should just keep a wall spare for this sort of thing. Alright, now let's move that. Oh. There we go. We'll move Venom a little lower. Just pop that there, I guess. Yeah. And there was a dude kicking around. Where is he? There he is. That is one of my visitors. That is somebody who's visiting the gallery virtually, quote unquote. And he'll comment about either the painting being such art or complex or it moves me or they're shook or they're just gonna come in, take a look at the two pictures and leave. One last thing before I go, I'm gonna show you the framing tool. This is a tool that you can use to frame stuff. So let's take this Hellions one for example. We're going to... we'll give it something quirky, funky... Chains? No. Spikes. Yeah. And then we'll do... black plastic, I guess? That looks like fun. Alright, well, I'll leave you here. I hope you all have a good night, and I will see you all next time. Bye!